Hey guys, what is going on? Welcome back to the channel. Today, coming at you with ideally a pretty short, concise, ideally helpful tutorial to come out with something like this. I say it's pretty simple because it is as far as edits go, and it kind of goes back to my roots of what I got into Photoshop for, which is kind of goofy, cool stuff like this. So, without further ado, let's just jump into it. First thing you're going to want to do, take a photo of your phone, pretty straightforward. Then you're going to want to take a photo of yourself pressed up against a window, as I did here. It gives you a nice natural backlight, at least where I took it, so keep that in mind as you do it. And I'm just going to cut myself out with the pen tool, which is P on your keyboard, or this tool right over here. You make selections with it. You can drag and do all this. I'm not going to go in depth with it because other channels have already, and I don't want to, one, attempt to go up against them with my tutorial because I'm sure theirs are better and more well thought out. But anyway, that's how I did it, and I created a layer mask right here. As you can see, boom, a nice, beautiful cutout of your subject. So from there, I had some unwanted reflections and mainly just reflections and weird color all over myself. So what I did to mitigate that was I did a combination of the clone stamp tool, the healing brush tool, which again, there are plenty of tutorials on that, but just as a quick little tutorial, clone stamp or the S on your keyboard or this tool right here you use with Alt or Option to select an area of your image and then paint in an area of that image. That was not a good example of that. Here, let me pull this up. So it literally just takes the area that you selected and you can just paint it wherever you want. And so I did a combination of that with the healing brush tool, which is J on your keyboard. And that kind of blends a little bit more than the clone stamp tool. The clone stamp will literally just take this area, place it over here. The clone stamp will attempt to blend in with the area that you're painting over. Boom, on to the next thing. So yeah, I just did that and I ended up with something like this. I also did some hue adjustment layers to kind of subdue the greens because I didn't really want those. This area up here was a little more tricky, and as you can tell, wasn't quite perfect, but it's perfect for what I'm doing, which is a quick tutorial with a cool final product. Moving on from there, as you can see, just cleaning some stuff up with just a brush layer, just painting in. From there, I wanted to add a little bit more glow or a little bit more light coming over me. So to do that, I did a curves adjustment layer. Actually, before we do that, we did a curves layer on the phone to make it even brighter. So to do that, we went into the curves layer and took the whites over here, which is the top right of your layers curve, your curves curve, and just drag the whites over, and as you can see, it just brightens the whites of your image a lot. I didn't want to overdo it, so I kept it about right there. And as you can see, turn that off and on. It makes these highlights on your subject cell even more. From there, I did add some more light to my subject. And for that, I did another curves adjustment layer. And I just changed the blending mode of the layer to screen. And then I went to the layer mask, inverted that with Control or Command I, and painted with a nice big soft white brush around my subject. As you can see, it just adds lightness to the image. So I did that around the subject wherever I thought the light would hit. I used, the light that was already there as reference and just your best guesswork. Moving on from there, I added another layer of light, and this time to do that, I duplicated my subject layer. I double-clicked on the layer that I duplicated, and I went down to Inner Glow and gave myself a nice white color glow, And I messed around with the size and the choke and the range a little bit to give the look that I wanted. I inverted the layer masking again with Control or Command I. And if you can see, when I turn that on and off again, I just painted in the area where I wanted that glow to affect. And it's a little less noticeable up here and in the hair because it's already pretty blown out. But it's exactly what we wanted. And then from there, this is basically the final image. But what I wanted to do was kind of bring it all together a little bit more and make the image pop. So what I did was Control Shift Alt E or Command Shift Option E if you're on Mac. And that merged all these layers that I had already worked on into one. And then I went in with a camera raw filter. I bumped the highlights, the contrast, the texture, the clarity. I added a little bit of a color grading to it. And I came out with this final image, which I think looks super awesome. It's a super simple effect. And I hope you guys could get something out of this. Hopefully it wasn't too quick. If it was, let me know. And maybe I can do a little more in-depth tutorial. But yeah, I just wanted to come at you guys with something quicker and different than what I've been posting recently. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Subscribe, click the like, and I guess I'll see you guys in the next one.